Hello and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. 10 days, 11 days, 12 days? 12 days before 2025. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video for my first impressions of this title. And honestly, over the past couple of weeks, it is probably a good thing that I have not played it, because it seems like there have been a raft of issues, very varied issues, and also issues that appear to be intermittent, with different people experiencing completely different issues at different times. So, yes, I think it is probably a good thing that I have waited to do my first impressions. Nevertheless, this is going to be my first impressions, and I'm going to do it in a similar fashion to what I did with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 4 years ago. What I'm not going to do, though, is play the career mode, where you see the side profile of the character that I've chosen. And the reason I've chosen this character at the moment is because it looks a little like Carl Fredricksen from Up. And since this is a flight simulator, and Up, guy goes flying in hot air balloons and all of that, and this has hot air balloons, I thought it would be quite apt to have that particular profile, or that particular face. Anyway, that aside, as I said, I'm not going to be touching the career mode, because I know that the career mode is completely bugged for many people, and to be quite honest, I do not think I'm ever going to use the career mode. I think I'm more often than not probably going to just be doing free flight. So there we go. So that is what I'm going to do in today's video. I'll start up a free flight. I'll go through checking the graphics, physics, textures, bugs, glitches, whatever I can find and whatever I can talk about, perhaps in a bit of a hodgepodge way, but that is what first impressions are all about. This isn't a full review or anything, so there we have it. Make sure you stay tuned. Let's get started, and I'll get on with selecting a free flight after the intro. So, I have played this for a couple of hours, just getting everything working and just make sure everything is running the way it's supposed to run and whatnot. And I already have some complaints, as it were. And there are going to be good and bad things in this first impressions of mine. My first complaint is, it never seems to save the aircraft that I'm flying. It keeps resetting it to a default variant. So I have purchased the Premium Deluxe version. I think that is probably the best version to get in the long run. The Aviator Edition just looks far too expensive for things that are going to be no good. I think perhaps even the premium version is fairly good, which comes with a whole bunch of aircraft. But I'm going to start with the good old Cessna 172 Skyhawk. I started with this aircraft, actually it was the 152, I think. I started with that in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2002, 2004, 2006, or FSX, 2020, and now in this. But for some reason, as I said, every time I start a flight, and I've tried this 3 times now, it just resets. Just completely resets the aircraft. Couple of other things that I'm having difficulty with. Watch this now work. No, it still doesn't work. I do not seem to be able to start VSync. I have no idea why. It just appears to be stuck. So I have no idea what is going on there. But I do know that this is not the only thing that I've had stuck. So I've managed to switch this off now. So I've switched off multiplayer and all of that, and air traffic in Korea. I've managed to switch these things off, voice chat, etc. However, when I started up Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and loaded it in for the first time, all of these were stuck on, and there was no way for me to switch them off. In fact, at this point, I actually cannot switch it on. So I don't particularly care about multiplayer being stuck, but I do not understand why I cannot switch that on. But I couldn't switch it off earlier. So there we go. I'd rather have it off than on. But yes, so issues like that appear to be present everywhere. Now, in terms of the world map, it's pretty nice. It has weather on when you are in the main menu, which is a bit more tailored towards Xbox and touchscreens and big tiles and stuff like that, which I personally do not particularly appreciate. But there we have it. So what I'm going to be doing is similar to what I did 4 years ago. I'm going to try and set, and hopefully it saved my settings. It hasn't. So there's another issue. I had this set up, preset, for about that time. Yes, something like that. In 2020, sorry. Basically the day, I think that was the same day that I recorded the first video, or very close to it. So that is what I had. Now it seems to, every single time it seems to reset that. Now, multiplayer, live players, okay, that is fine, that makes sense, tells me. But yes, so few bugs like that already present. I do find this world map a little odd as the photogrammetry starts to load in, because it is effectively the actual map. I'm sorry, what? That's not Scotland. I know that's probably a little area. This little hamlet here, or this little village, is probably called Scotland. But yes, so I'm going to start up here, and the idea is I'm going to fly over Leeds, Bradford, this area, then go into the Peak District and do some flying around there, and then perhaps come all the way down, if I get a chance, and land over at East Midlands Airport. What on earth is this? Ah, tiling issues. Here we go. Why is it just that one strip? Oh no, I see some more. Okay, so there are still tiling issues between the various bits of scenery, so you can sort of see where the satellite imagery is. That is a little concerning, but I'm just going to check. I guess I can check this over here now, because it used to be glaringly obvious, and as long as it isn't completely obvious now, I should be alright. There's a little bit there. It should be better. So I think it was this area where it was glaringly obvious that there was a tile. That's a path. That's a tile. There we go. Okay. Well, that has not been fixed. That is already quite disappointing. Yes, that is quite disappointing. I want to see, though, whether or not that will be visible when we fly. So I just have to make sure I fly over Shipley and then over this way and keep an eye out as we get towards Oxenhope Airfield. There we go. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you through all the loading and everything as well, just so that you have an idea of how long it takes. I'm on a 10700K, so that should give you an idea in terms of what your processor might do. That being said, I did 2 practice loads, and the first one was really fast, very quickly done, and the second one took... Okay, well, this is what I mean. That one was incredibly fast, and the second one, I think I was waiting for about 3 or 4 minutes for it to do anything.
Leeds Tower Cessna Golf. Mike Bravo Golf Kilo ready at runway 14 departing straight out.
That is also something that...
Cessna Golf, Mike Bravo Golf Kilo QNH 1013 straight out departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 14.
That is also something that I'm going to immediately switch off and complain about, and that is the ATC being absolutely horrific. I think it's just as bad, if not worse, than Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Where are those cars coming from? Oh, there's a tunnel underneath this airport, isn't there? I think that is where they're coming from. Okay, let's have a quick look at this aircraft whilst we are on the ground. I haven't gone ahead and done all the cold and dark startup or anything like that. Textures, ground textures look good. Sounds wise, I think it's quiet at the moment, but it does sound fairly decent. Let's go ahead and set some autopilot up for a little later. So we'll be wanting 2,000 feet. I'll be wanting, when I press vertical speed, I'll sort out the vertical speed for that. But yes, okay. The other thing I need to check is head tracking. In Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, head tracking worked immediately. Let's try now. Yep, it works. Why am I down here? How do I reset? 0 for my reset. There it is. I'm looking in the wrong direction because I need to press space. No. What is the setup to reset the controls? Okay, controls have all changed. Why have you changed the controls from 4 years ago? Camera, not VR. I just want a camera reset. Camera reset, camera reset. Developer camera? No, camera reset. Shift and space. That is what I pressed. Shift and space. I must have pressed control and space. Never mind. Okay, head tracking works immediately off the bat. I say this, I did a practice run. Didn't work. So I have no idea what's going on. Fairly responsive. I think I need to lower myself in the seat a little. So how do I do that? No, that's looking down. That's back and forth. That's up. There we go. That looks fairly decent. No. Control and space again. No, shift and space. There we are. And move myself just across just a little bit. There we go. That is good. I can have a look around. Great. So I'm going to take off and let's have a look at what we have. Okay. Rudders are working. Controls. Good. Mixture to maximum. Off the parking brakes. Maximum throttle, and up we go. Ground. Oh, that's weird. Oh, it's gone. No, it's there. It's already. There is a bit of weirdness on the photogrammetry, that's for sure, or on the texture. Terrain mesh. There we are. Now I have put textures up to ultra, and I'm going to see what comes of this. Those trees look really bad. Those trees look really bad, but then beyond that, they look really good. So what is going on there? Barometric pressure should just be 2992 or 1013 millibars. So I'm not going to be changing that around. Now in terms of how things look, that does look pretty good. The trees look a little big. The trees do look a little big. But aside from that, you know what? I'm going to ease off at 1,500 feet for now. Okay, well, I'll immediately give them one positive point, and that is that the trim works fantastically compared to 2020, in which I absolutely despised the trim. There was such a problem. There we go. Just staying under the cloud level right now so that I can have a look around. Now I think I looked up what the photo mode is supposed to be, and it's Shift V. So I'm going to try that at some point. But for now, let's just have a look around town. Okay, lighting, colours, all improved. Let's sit higher up, even though then we cannot see out that window, but just to look over the nose. There we are. Very good. Let's turn in over whatever town this is. I think this is Bradford. I have no idea. Things have changed. We have an EFB now. I'm not sure why it is on that side and not on this side. It's a bit annoying. But you can just access the flight bag from here, or the tablet, and it just pops it out there. Navigraph and everything works pretty much out of the box. As you can see, a little bit of stutter as it loads, still same as always. So that all works out of the box. If you have Navigraph, you're not going to have any issues there. It's Leeds. There we go. We'll turn it over that way shortly. This all looks like photogrammetry. Parts of it look like they are done really well. Then other parts look a bit horrible for some reason. So yes, anyway, back to the EFB. We'll fly around this area a little and then get back to the physics and everything like that whilst I describe this. So we can go to aircraft, you can find flight performances, but the important part here is the checklists. So you've got 3 levels of checklists: standard, advanced and expert, which is pretty cool. And then you can just go through all of these and start ticking, so on and so forth, all the various different bits. So pre-flight, starting engine, all of that. Put a bit more throttle in there, which is really, really nice. So that has replaced the checklists up here. So that one has replaced that. Also, you've got the pilot book. As you can see, I've done 2 hours worth of flying in total. That's including this bit. To get an idea of what everything is like, just making sure everything is set up correctly and the plane does fly. Because last time I had an issue, or last time I tried to do a first impressions in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the plane just broke in the first hour. So there we go. So you've got the logbook, you've got your settings, you've got your flights planner, which I haven't even really looked at, and then obviously more apps. Navigraph and SimBrief both work out of the box, which is great, and then when you switch it off it goes over there. I think that is pretty useful, especially as you can just bring it up from here, drag it over, let's say to that side, it's out of the way, and then you can do whatever you want with it. So that is, I think, in my opinion, I think that is pretty useful. So back to the flying. Let's go in that direction now. I do think the photogrammetry has improved. Nothing looks like it's out of the day after tomorrow. Say that. Okay, most things do not look like they are out of the day after tomorrow, so that is a good sign. I think that's where we just took off from, right? Hello, come on. 500. There we go, that's what I want. I'm fairly sure that's where we just took off from. Yep, that is where we just took off from. So what I need to do now is I need to fly in this direction. I said I was going to look out for those tiles. So if we now fly due west from here, I should be able to see the tiles. flight's model is much improved. It really is. So visuals are much improved. Flight's model is very much improved. It doesn't have weird shakes. The trim works really nicely. It doesn't feel, it does not feel like I'm fighting this aircraft at any point, which is really good. I can feel sort of the updrafts from the trees, from the river, from the buildings, but it isn't crazy. It isn't overwhelming or anything like that, which is very impressive. However, I say that I am also simultaneously disappointed in the fact that this version of the aircraft is only available in Premium Deluxe. It might be Premium, but it's Premium or Premium Deluxe versions, whereas the glass cockpit version, the Garmin G1000 version, is available with the standard version. That makes little to no sense to me. I think that this version should be the version included as standard. So there is that. Some other disappointments, as I mentioned, the ATC, or just actually, I've watched a couple of people doing a couple of career mode videos, and it's not just the ATC, it's just everything that requires voice is absolutely horrendous. So I have no idea what Microsoft were thinking there, or Asobo, but it is just really poor. And I have noticed something else interesting. So I'm looking around this whole time. I'm trying to figure out what does and does not look correct, and I have a feeling that level of detail modeling is broken. Yes, I think level of detail modeling is broken. There we go. Okay. So with that means that certain things like trees are going to look weird and buildings are going to look weird, probably resulting in... that is probably going to result in the immersion being broken at times. Like, so far it doesn't look too bad. There's just a few moments where something catches my eye that is not loaded in properly, or the level of detail model is so bad that it is not loading in properly, or loading in really wonkily, and it's causing me to just... it just catches my eye. Like that tree there, it just catches my eye and it just breaks me out of what I'm looking at, what I'm doing. Still keeping an eye out also for that seam. Is that it? No, that's a reflection. Reflections are also improved in the aircraft. Lighting has been improved phenomenally in this, actually. So for example, I mean, you just look at that does look excellent. It really does look excellent. Now what I'm going to do is, let's do a circle around wherever we are. Where are we? Bradford? I think we're around Bradford. So I'm just going to do a 20-degree bank, just all the way around. See how this feels. And I'm going to give active pause an attempt. And the reason I'm going to give active pause an attempt is because previously in Microsoft Flight Simulator, when it first came out, there were issues with active pause. So there we go, active pause is now active. Go into showcase mode, and I need to look around. Does track IR also works here? Okay. Photogrammetry is fairly impressive. It really is fairly impressive. Oh, hang on. I think there's there's a biscuit factory here somewhere. Oh, hang on. What's going on here? Manual. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Oh, no. Wait, manual does not do much different from automatic. It doesn't do much differently at all. There isn't much difference. Or is it... I do not quite understand what it's doing. But that looks alright. I'm going to leave it in active pause just for a moment, whilst I also try to focus to get a photo. There we go. And yes, that doesn't look... That bit looks a bit melted. This area here looks melted. This area here looks okay. It looks okay, and that area looks melted. That area looks terrible. So what I think is happening, it's just doing the immediate area. But realistically, I think it should be doing a greater area. Well, I'll tell you what, whilst we're in active pause, let's go ahead and try and up the graphics somewhat. Might as well give it a go. I could bring the render scaling down a little, and then I can... Let's try and do... As procedurally generated, that's not the one I want. Those all seem fine. Let's try and bump this up a little, and bump this up a little. Let's see what that does. Okay. Oh no, and we're out of... Hello. We're out of active... Okay. It knocked us out of active pause. That was not what I was expecting. Right. That is something to bear in mind. So, if you go into settings whilst you are in pause, active pause, as soon as you continue, it takes you out of the active pause. That does look quite realistic. Interesting. Right, I said I was going to go over into the Peak District. So let's go ahead and do that. And for me to be able to do that, I need to head... where am I heading to get into the Peak District? East. But where? That's where I need to head. Okay, let's go. Let's see what we can do. Let's do a little bit more. Let's try the autopilot out. So let's get my heading hold. Well, let's turn north for now. We'll go ahead and switch the autopilot on. Autopilot is in. Altitude is armed. Vertical speed. Vertical speed is armed. And let's get ourselves climbing, which is good. Let's go heading hold. And let's see what we can do. Okay. So, I need to head in that direction. That is what I'm going to do. Put a bit more throttle in. Let's have a look again at Navigraph. So I have got Navigraph there, but also I can access Navigraph here. So let's head slightly towards Pole Hill, shall we? So we'll do a heading of 210 all the way around. Heading bug does take a little bit of movement still, but it is working. Autopilot's working nicely. It's leveled us off at 2,000 feet. So that is good. And we'll pass to the I think we'll pass to the east of Pole Hill. Yes, we've got to head out west to get into the Peak District. Accelerating a little, let's really try and get this aircraft up to 120 knots plus as I have a look around. I should probably try this photo mode. Let's have a go. As we are going over all these buildings, we've got a little bit of the shake, the judder, the updrafts, which is also very realistic. It isn't anything, it isn't too crazy. Oh, that looks bad. That bit of photogrammetry there looks like that has all melted. Okay. Controls wise, setting up my controls was harder than it was for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 and harder than it ever was for X-Plane. The reason being is that for some reason they have decided that right-clicking is no longer a thing, so if I wanted to unassign something, I could not right-click, I have to then go into the settings, find the button and then deselect it. It seems like a very game controller thing to do, and it is a little annoying. So there is that. The other problem was, for some reason, my axes, both aileron and elevator, were inverted. Again, no idea why. Absolutely no idea why that is a thing, but it is. Football pitch. Parkland. Everything does look pretty good. I'm trying to work out what those lines are in the water. It looks... okay. So those are supposed to be transmission lines. And the computer is confused. It doesn't know what to do with them. So it thinks they are tracks on the ground, but they are not. Those were transmission lines. I mean, that I can forgive. That I can definitely forgive. Because, I mean, look at this. It is not... I would not have said many years ago that this would even be possible. I've just noticed a change in colour of those trees. Interesting. I would not have said many years ago that this would be possible. 4 years ago, this was, when it worked, breathtaking, fantastic. This is now even better, although, as I said, it does have some issues, but this is even better when it does work. Lighting is a lot better, the clouds are a lot better. So, yes, this is all... I think a lot of things can be forgiven in the sense of you would not have expected this even 10 years ago for something like this to exist. Yes, you could do some of this with things like Ortho for XP, Orbex did a whole bunch of things, I think they were called True Earth if I remember correctly. Those things were all really good. But this is native, and that is important. Shall we try and climb a little higher? Let's go for 2,700 feet. Into a climb we go. Come on. I said into a climb we go. There it goes. That should climb pretty quickly to 2,700 feet. In fact, in about probably a minute and a half at most. So yes, in that sense, a lot of things can be forgiven. However, whilst I say that, releasing a bugged game like the career mode is, that is just not acceptable. All the server issues, both, I can see sort of both sides of it, in the sense of Microsoft were not expecting to have, or Asobo were not expecting to have quite as many users as they got on day one. On the flip side, it's Microsoft. Microsoft own the Azure platform. They are one of the forefront, or they are at the forefront of cloud computing, alongside AWS and Google, also Amazon and Google. How Microsoft could not get data servers up is confusing. I just do not understand how that was a thing. So on that side, I can see why people would be very angry. However, they have fixed this. They have fixed it. It is working. I have not had a single issue today with anything kicking me off or anything like that. And as you saw, I've done a couple of hours of flying just to make sure everything is running, and nothing has thrown me off. I've had other bugs, things not working, menus not working. I've had some issues with controls not working properly. I'll explain that in a minute as well. So those bugs, again, cannot be ignored. Those are really important, and I think that they all point towards this still being, once again, rushed. And I have no idea why Microsoft do that. They rushed the 2021 by about 2 or 3 months, and I honestly think if they had released this in January next year, that's January 2025, it would have been a lot better. Just with a number of bugs fixed, just squash those bugs and everything would have been absolutely fine. Coming into the Peak District now, and I'm trying to see what is and isn't working here. And one of the things that I have noticed, and bear in mind my texture quality is set to ultra, is that the ground, the trees are really detailed as you get quite close to them, and the buildings and things like that. And then the ground is not. Ooh, what is that? I think that's supposed to be some sort of cliff, but it looks really weird. Interesting. Both positive and negative there. Positive that there are cliffs, negative that it looks really odd. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to climb over this into that. There's a little valley coming up, and I'll turn in due probably, not due south, I'll turn in heading probably 160 after we get over that. So yes, there are some issues that are quite severe. So one of the issues that I had, that is really cool. That's the new terrain mesh resolution, the new vector data, or whatever they are using. For some reason, and funnily enough, I have had this issue with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 before. For some reason, when you do very minor movements, in fact, let me see if it does this. So I'm going to switch off heading hold. I'll try to turn. No, that's because autopilot's still on. It's trying to fight me. Okay, never mind that. We'll leave heading hold on for now. It's trying to keep the wings level because it's in roll mode. I'll show you that I'll show you it in a bit. So the problem is that if I make very slight movements, this is nice. If I make very, very slight movements on my controls, every now and then, and this happened to me 3 times in 5 or 6 minutes, 5 minutes, let's say. I'm not entirely certain, but I think it was about 3 times in 5 minutes, where it does not respond to the fine movements and then suddenly responds in a violent way. So it's like it jumps from 0 to whatever the movement was. And I do not understand why this is the case. Let's get the heading bug turning so that we can have a good look at this area. Let's go into external view as well. Might as well show you that. I think I've shown you showcase, but not external view. So this is the external view. And yes, as you can see, that there is a level of detail here that perhaps wasn't present before. I'm going to turn probably now heading 130. Because I've overshot to where I wanted to go just so I could see this cliff. Now I think in Wales the Mark Loop is going to look great, but I'm waiting for a specific aircraft to be updated before I go over there. Can I look around with... No, apparently I'm stuck here for some reason. No, is it? There we go. It's right click and move. There we go. Right, the aircraft is now turning in a crazy fashion. Why is it doing that? What is going on here? I have no idea why that just happened. This is what I mean about issues. I didn't do it. I didn't do anything. I didn't control, I didn't move or manipulate the controls in any which way. All I did was right click and drag around so that I can look around. What I'm now thinking is that Aselbo have probably doubled controls up, where right click actually... Well no, because in the aircraft it doesn't do that. Maybe in an external view that is what it does. I do not know. And this is what I mean. There are... It's just a bit weird. Now, this is a very familiar shot for me because I've literally taken this screenshot in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So I'm going to try and take the exact... Oh, great. I'm going to try and take the exact same screenshot, or as close to it as I can, and see how that actually fares comparatively. Now I think that looks a little bit more realistic in some senses, but I do think there's something odd going on with the terrain. Yes, I think there's something odd with terrain textures. Let's change the weather, shall we? I think a weather change is in order. Let's go for some rain. Let's have a look at what some rain looks like. Just a bit of rain, there we go. Oh, now that looks very nice. Also, I want to try this. Is it Control V or Shift V? I'm going to try this. This could, everything could go wrong right now. Control V does nothing. Shift V. Okay. So, Shift V is photo mode. Hang on. Things look a lot more realistic like that. U and O will rotate. That's pretty good. How do I go up? There we go. Auto focus, auto exposure. Cool. R and F is focus. And then I can activate... Oh, wait, what? Do that and that. Can I change... The question is, can I change the depth of field? Because if I can do that, that would be quite impressive. Changing the depth of field would be a very, very impressive thing indeed. But it seems like I cannot, that is a shame. That truly is a shame. That I cannot change the depth of field. Because had that been a thing, it would have looked pretty good. So let's, for example, just take that as a photo. That's going to save it somewhere. I have no idea where, but that has done something. Also, I do want to take another one. Something like this. So testing out the photo mode too. This is something that, of course, we did not have in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and I think this is a welcome addition. Really is. So how do I do the autofocus? R and F. Oh, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. So I could, for example, take that as another photo. See how just seeing how they look. What about inside? Can I do... Oh no. Oh no. Did not mean to do that. It's a bit difficult to get the right spot, because that could be a better view. It's a little bit difficult to get the right spot, but effectively, for example, if I was doing that... Oh, but then this does not go out of focus. That's a bit annoying. I would rather that was out of focus and then that in focus. Well, I'm sure I can figure something out. Let's press Shift and V to exit, and it just takes us straight back in to this. That wasn't too bad overall. I think that was impressive. I do like these pockets of rain. So, for example, I'm currently not in rain, but I could fly into rain, both to the left and to the right. In fact, I'm kind of curious to see if I go over to the right, what kind of weather am I going to experience? Rainbows from wherever the sun is. So I'm just going to try and skirt some of this weather, just be right on the edge of it so I can jump out of the weather pretty quickly. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely certain of that first rainbow. It looks a bit too bright for me. I think it's a little bit too saturated. It does look just a little bit too saturated for me. But it is pretty impressive that I can see the rainbow going all the way across and all the way over to here. The second rainbow looks a lot more realistic. Ah, there we go. The first rainbow is fading ever so slightly. Okay, going into the clouds. And I think the clouds have also been notably improved. The volumetric clouding performance is also better. I have noticed that. I know I also have low fuel, but performance is also much better. So that is also pretty good. Whilst I'm going into the clouds, I am going to make my attempt to figure out where exactly I need... Oh, I can hear rain. Okay, well, I see rain on one window? No, wait, two windows. Nothing on my windscreen. No rain at all on the windscreen. Where am I? There. Am I going to make it to an airfield? I could potentially make it to... How much fuel do I have? Oh, probably not going to make it to that one. Right, I need an airfield. Can I turn back and make it to that one? No. Can I make it to... I'm going to try. I'm going to make an attempt here. It does look really quite good. Let's just get ourselves out of this. Going to ease off a bit on the power as well to maximize range. Maybe let's try and go back into photo mode and see. Oh well, we managed to get the focus there. Oh, there is apparently rain. I just cannot see it. That rain looks weird. This one here going up the windscreen, that looks weird. Because that does not, it's not taking into account. I do not think it's taken the propeller into account. Right. Let's see. Let's do that. Let's zoom in a little more. Okay, this photo mode could really be a big deal, I think. Especially when you're doing things like landing and taking off. I wonder if this is also something that would be usable in... I wonder if it would be usable in replays. So there is a replay tool built in, FCR, flight recorder. I have no idea how exactly it works, but it is built in. Also, I should point out that I removed, previously, I removed that and what else was it? That from the settings, but they appear to have come back. So there seems to be an issue where settings are clearly not being saved. There does seem to be an issue there. Right, let's change the weather up again. Check out some different weather. The clouds are really quite good. Let's do some broken clouds. Very nice. And let's change, I'll tell you what, let's change the time of day as well. In fact, let's just change the month. Make it look like it's... In fact, let's just do something very close to darkness. Look at those clouds up there. I think I might change the clouds from broken clouds to something else. Something that we can see a little bit more in. Maybe scattered clouds. There we are. So I have no idea where we are flying over presently. Suppose I could zoom in and have a look. There is an airfield though. How far away? That's Gamston. I think we could make... Okay, hang on. Where... Not knowing exactly where we are is going to be interesting. I'm not all too familiar with all these areas. Right. Excuse me, Navigraph, please. Where am I? Sheffield. Okay. So that's still a distance away from there. 50 miles to run? Possibly? If I turn direct south now, that could be 50 miles or so to run. Physics-wise, this feels pretty good. In fact, I do want to try... Probably not a good idea to do this over... Maybe shouldn't be doing this over a town. Because I do want to try a stall. I'll do that perhaps closer to the airport. And again, back into something that I could take photographs of. That does look very... That is Sheffield Town Centre. That does look extremely realistic. And that's very impressive. So overall, I'm relatively impressed with Microsoft Flight Simulator. I still think that there are numerous bugs that have to be fixed. And they really should have... I think they really should have fixed them way before they released this product. That much I am certain of. This was not the right time to release things, and one of the biggest issues, as I've said, that I think I've found is level of detail models. Colours of trees. That's another thing that I've just noticed. Change time of year, colour of trees changes. Of course, because they've got seasonal weather now, or seasonal changes. Right, I think I should be able to make Echo Golf November X-ray. So I have no idea what that road is. That's some A road. But that is definitely heading south. So I don't know which particular A road that is going to be. It's certainly not the motorway, that's for sure. The good thing about this though is that, and again, you would have never thought it once upon a time, that I can just look at that and go, okay, there's a road there, there's a massive, it looks like some sort of warehouse or distribution yard or something like that down there. Where exactly am I? And I can just say, well, okay, I'll look around and I think that I'm on the A61. Yes, I think that is the A61 going through Chesterfield. And that is literally how easy it is. Which is really strange in a way. You would not have expected that. I don't know what those red and green lights are for though, but you would not have expected that. Nobody would have thought that that could be a thing 10 years ago. That the whole world, you'd be able to just pick up where you are and go, look at a map and go, oh right, I'm exactly here. That is really, really cool. Fuel levels are coming up to 5 gallons in each tank, or 7.5 gallons in each tank. I am running very low on fuel. Very, very low on fuel. I'm going to tune in. How do I change this again? It's been a long time. Press that. Turn this? I think so. There we go. 109 point... I think it's 3.5. It's picking it up. Now, what is the distance? How do I find the distance to that? There's a distance marker, but it isn't telling me anything. No, that's not what I want to do. Clear that. No, clear that. No. Why do I want to go to Bosnia? That isn't right. Change fields. Enter. Oh, that's pretty cool. So, bearing, that's distance to track. That's impressive because that has all changed. That's distance, I want that. Ground speed, estimated time, that's all fine. I don't think any of this used to work a long time ago, so that's really cool. Now, that's how you change that one as well. Right. There is a slight concern on my fuel levels. I think I should be okay. I should be okay. But you just never know. Lighting-wise, this is very, very good. Much better than I've ever seen previously. And I thought Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020's lighting was good, if not great. This, though, is fantastic. Especially the evening lighting. I think the daytime lighting is similar. There appears to be a little bit more. Now I'm just going to use a term that you'd actually get in the real world, but like subsurface scattering. So that's how you get like the blue of the sky. And I think a lot more of that is actually coming down onto the ground and onto the aircraft and things like that, onto reflections. There's a lot more bounced lighting going on. Without real performance cost, this is running just as well, if not better, than 2020 for me. So you have that, whereas Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 did not. But there's also, it just looks like the materials are responding to light a lot better in this version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2. And so that is pretty good. How far away are we? No idea. Fuel is still seeping very slowly, seeping away. Night lighting looks like it has been completely changed, because in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 at this point it would be dark, the ground would be really dark, you wouldn't be able to see much at all. It would be as if somebody has just put sunglasses on you, and then really, really dark sunglasses, and said, right now try and tell me what the colours are of the ground. That is literally what it was like. This is far more realistic. I'm sure if I go to the middle of the night, you're not going to be able to see much. I say that, if I go to the middle of the night, I think that's the A50, so we are getting close to where we need to be. Am I going to be able to see the stars properly? Oh wow, that looks different. Why are these on? No, other way. That's better. Whoa, that is now bright. Okay. Glare shield. No, do not switch it. Why did that switch it off? There we go. I can actually... That's way too bright. I can actually read things. How about my instrument panels? There we go. All lit up quite nicely. That's also really quite cool. That's a fantastic potential for screenshots. And look at the reflections. We have ray traced reflections, which does make quite a difference. If I bring this back, that really does make quite a difference. And if I go into that view, let's see, that looks great. I'm kind of afraid to move do that. I'm going to try and get this right though. There we go. the realism right there. I'm not sure you could, at that point, I'm not sure you could surpass that realism. That is brilliant. That truly is brilliant. Maybe not so much that shot, but the first shot was just fantastic. Right, back to actually focusing on the job at hand, and that is flying this aircraft. Get me some lighting, please. There we go. Just, in fact, no, I really do not need that. I'm actually now tempted to just fly this aircraft, land it in the dark. I think I should be alright on fuel. This has been one very long video, but as first impressions go, I will be honest, I am far more receptive of this than I ever was of 2020 for a long time. Now, do not get me wrong, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 got better, and it really did work, and I've flown many hours in it when I could, and there are fantastic add-ons for it, and there is still a lot of life in it. And also, I am still concerned about the whole, they said Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 would be supported for 10 years, but 4 years later this came out. Does that mean that they are going to stop support of that? And what about fixing the things that are still broken in it? Because there are a number of things that are still broken in it that they did not fix. So are they going to do anything about that? Because that is really quite important, I would think. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to a heading of 210, track that for approximately a minute, then go back to tracking 180, as we are starting to get a little bit closer to East Midlands Airport. And also, is that because I'm in slight cloud? That is volumetric lighting right there. That looks really good. That really does look very, very good. I want to change to the weather again, just getting a different feel for all the different types of weather. So now we've got completely clear skies. Can I make out any constellations? No. I think that might be because of the light. Can I switch this light off? Hang on. No, apparently it doesn't work on my flight controls for some reason. So I could just switch it off there though. Right, I'm going to run with taxi light's cool because it illuminates the propeller. I'm actually just going to run without the lights for now, just so that we can enjoy that a little bit more. Lot of light pollution though. There is a lot of light pollution here. What is that all the way out in the distance? Is that another city? That's the M1. That has to be the M1. Which means that the airport should be... Where is the airport? We shouldn't be that far from it. It's here somewhere. This is the airport, I think. What is that? Oh, that's supposed to be that power station. That is now closed, but... Oh, they're popping some... Right, there we go, confirmed. There's the problem. It's LODs. Right, let's cut the autopilot out completely. And take manual control of this. Into a descent we go. Just trying to find the indicators for final. Cannot see the runway lights. Why can I not see the runway lights? I am definitely at that airport, right? Or am I not? I might be actually looking at the wrong power station. No, there it is. It is right here. I am looking at the wrong power station. I think that is the airport just there. I'm just going to descend down to 2,000 feet. Much quieter. Oh, that's a football stadium. Okay, that looks like... I think I see blue. That's got to be Derby County or whatever it is. Okay, I know where we are. That's Nottingham out there. This is Derby. That's Leicester, Loughborough, Birmingham out that way, Coventry, Birmingham out that way. So we are definitely very close to the airport. I just cannot see it. Have we gone past it? No, we haven't. And I know I said I was just going to stay on the 210 for a minute, but I realised I was going to end up being too close to the airport, so I had to maintain for a little bit longer. Right, coming down to 1,500 feet. Still, there it is. Those are the lights. There they are. That's the ones I want. Well, those are the ones I want. Excellent. Actually, it's just it's a lot more realistic. The airport, in a way, just blends into everything around it, which is really quite cool. So that is also quite a good thing. Right, this time I will now switch on the actual landing lights. There we go. They really are bright. I'll just try to slow the aircraft down whilst minimising my rate of descent. Very thankful for this trim wheel to be working properly now. I'll start a very, very gentle turn in, because I really do not need to do much for this. If I remember correctly, it is going to be 089 for the landing. I'm not entirely certain. I think that light is about to change on the puppy indicator anyway. Definitely getting to a point where I need to be looking at descending more. I'm going to try and slow the aircraft down. There we go, told you. Let's get that into a descent. Looking at the ILS as well, I am got 3 dots above at the moment, but that's fine. I'm now just, effectively I am visual. This looks far better than 2020 ever did. This actually has a bit more of a look like X-Plane at some point, but there's more a little bit more glare, a little bit more... It's a little bit more polished, of course, being a brand new sim. I would like to see a little bit more realism on the lights, though. I will say that. I would like to see a little bit more realism on the lights. But this is not bad. And I think the bit that might be catching me out... Oh, there we go. No power station cooling towers. They're gone. I think the bit that is catching me out is the fact that... what was I going to say? Yes, shadows are a little bit odd. Is that... Are they lights around Donington? Those are as well, aren't they? That's lights around Donington Park. Yep, there's the racetrack. No lights on said racetrack. Wait, focus, get yourself on the centre line. I'm still waiting for those cooling towers to pop in. I cannot see them at all. There should be 6 of them, I think. Last coal power plant in the UK, now shut down. Let's get some flaps in. There we go, now on the centre line. Good. Oh, I think they've just popped in. There we go, more of them are popping in, and more. That is so weird. I thought there was something wrong with the models and pop-in and LOD. I also really like the fact that as the beacon's flashing, you get to see the propeller at different stages of its cycle from what, for example, a camera could see. That is really cool too. Slightly off. On the brakes. Oh, I say on the brakes. 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 Okay. Brakes are not very effective. Interesting. That was not what I was expecting. I was expecting that to not do that. Okay, and off the runway we get. So there we go. That is, I think that is enough for my first impressions. 1 hour 20-minute video, or 1 hour 10-minute video, whatever it was. I am fairly impressed, but also I have numerous concerns about the career mode, the horrific AI voices, and a number of bugs that people have reported. But unfortunately, I have not been able to replicate the bugs in free flight. I'm sure that there will be some. The LOD models are a problem for me. As I said, the AI voices are definitely a problem for me. The flight model is much improved. The weather, ground handling is different. The weather is much improved. The lighting is much better. Performance seems better, at least for me. I thought I switched the strobe lights off. Yes, performance seems better, at least for me. Downsides are... I know that a number of things have also not been implemented. So there is that too. Why are there gliders? Also more pop-in. There we go. I just saw a lot more pop-in there. We'll just stop there. Parking brakes are on. There we go. That is that. And that is the battery, the engine stopped as well. So yes, a number of potential issues I do see with this, but I also see a lot of promise. These lights are very bright. Those are very bright lights. I'm not sure they're supposed to be quite as bright as that. So maybe some lighting needs to be adjusted to, but definitely level of detail model, AI voices. Those things need to be done. But weather-wise, things look good. In terms of... Sorry, I'm going to be distracted by the sky now. In terms of flight model, physics, that looks really nice. Obviously, there is more for me to test, but so far it does look promising. I just think that it was released a little early. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to click the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Leave a comment in the comments box below, letting me know what you think. Any suggestions you might have. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon. Link in the description box below, as are links to my social media and Discord server. That is all from me. And oh, there we go. Things are switching off nicely. That is all from me. And I will see you next time in Microsoft Flight Simulator where... Ooh, torch. In Microsoft Flight Simulator, where I will probably find another flight to do. Look at that ray tracing, though. That is fantastic. That is modern hardware right there. Yes, I will find... I'm sure I'll find something to do. There are lots of things that I want to see, but also I am waiting for some of my top aircraft to make their way into the sim. So, yes, make sure you stay tuned for all of that. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.